closing that feedback loop. So people aren't just getting sort of payment information back, they're actually getting sort of stories of people's lives changing, as well as social impact data back. We would like to structure social impact data so that you can track someone's ascent out of poverty or relative equilibrium not out of poverty. We'd like to track that and start getting numerical about that. It's a huge issue and very difficult to do.
So you already do that, but you'd like to do it a bit better or in a more streamlined way. Yeah. But there's pros as well being on YouTube in terms of reach and tagging and so on, giving exposure, driving traffic to your website. So I guess either or, yeah.
Getting it not only on YouTube but all over our site is a big important thing. We're getting several videos a week now from
from entrepreneurs as well.
It's
from borrowers.
Kiva volunteers, we call them Kiva Fellows. We send about 150 of them a year out into the field, and they document via video and blogging what's going on. But that information is delivered to people's email boxes, but it's not really well formatted on the website. So putting video all over our website is one thing I'm focusing on. Early 2009.
Videos, watch displays. It's coming very soon, very quickly.
Yeah.
Another fascinating thing, according to me, is like the profile of the entrepreneurs. There's quite a lot of women, and the group as well, the group option, whereby the few entrepreneurs can regroup, let's say, and then leverage the size of the group to ask for bigger loans. Could you explain that? And do you have any statistics in terms of number of men versus women?
It's quite sexist, actually. There's about 75% women on our site.
Sexist in a good way.
Quite discriminatory, but I think it's a self-selecting phenomenon, whereas the microfinance institutions, the partners we have, whether it be in Senegal or Cambodia, have learned that women typically are better borrowers, and they typically use the money to service their family first, above themselves. And so, targeting women is a really effective way all over the world to alleviate poverty, and that's what we've learned in our short history.
That's an amazing, I think, statistic, like the 75% women, yeah.
Yes, 75% and only getting more sexist, if you will.
How do you spread the word in Africa, for instance? It's word of mouth, so people say, this is Kiva, so there's an entrepreneur. Do you fully leverage the relationship with your borrowers and asking them, for instance, to recommend the service, the platform, to other people? It's the local people, so the Kiva champions locally who spread the word.
It's really the staff of the MFI field partners. I use the word MFI a lot, microfinance institution. It's really the staff members of those organizations that spread the word, and what happens usually is maybe one group of women take a loan, they find out, hey, the interest rate's rather low, it's easy to pay back, this is really helping me grow, and then that spreads virally, if you will. It's not through Facebook necessarily, but through word of mouth, because the social fabric of an African village or anywhere where poor people live usually is very tight, as opposed to very industrialized areas where we're all separate. The community is very strong in places like Uganda. And so what happens is word gets out pretty fast. If something works, people hear about it pretty fast. If something doesn't work, people hear about that pretty fast as well.
Okay.
It's quite efficient.
So it's all good for
without the internet.
Good, yeah. Well, just to really insist on the fact that Kiva is very high profile in the US. So we talked about Bill Clinton, Oprah Winfrey. You've got very famous people as well at your board, if I'm correct, like one of the LinkedIn co-founders, Reid Hoffman, which means something, or means a lot, I shall say. So again, I wish you a lot of success in Europe.
Thank you.
Do you want to add anything else? I mean, you're very busy and you're on your way to Cambodia. So, en français, en anglais, do you want to add anything about Kiva? Do you want to ask for, I don't know, champions to express themselves and contact you?
One thing I'd really love is advice about how to spread our user base internationally and not be seen as an American-only brand. And so does that mean translating the site into other languages? Is that the way to do it first? Or will a French user or Spanish user use an English-based website? And what about mixing languages on one site? So we're getting content from Ecuador, from Nicaragua that's in Spanish. We're getting content from Senegal or from Cote d'Ivoire that's en français, right?
No?
So we actually work pretty hard to translate it into English.
How you translate everything?
Kind of
I have to
inefficient,
say,
right?
It is.
So what if we could save ourselves some time and appeal to a French audience by not translating that user-generated content into French, and not into English, and just leaving it in French?
Yeah.
And how would that look on a website that the static content is in English? Could you mix the languages on one site like that? Or would that come off as a bad user experience if you're someone in Paris? That's something I'm thinking about a lot, wondering how to sort of appeal to that user base and not be seen as, an American thing, seen as an international and a global thing.
That makes sense, yeah. A few social networks are trying that, anyway.
The mixing?
Yes. Some of them ask you to, it's not the most automated way or the easiest way, but to create one profile per language, for instance. So we're not really talking user-generated content every day, which changes like a post or comment. It's more really static. Right. It's my profile. One is in English, one is in Spanish, one is in French. It's slightly different, but it's a challenge, I guess, nowadays. Yeah.
Right, because we're funding about 100 to 150 loans every day. And that text is written in the local languages, and we're translating into English every day, right now. That's a lot of work, and it would be hard to translate that into several languages, not just English. So one thing we might do is just give up translating and letting it be sort of a world site, since English is not necessarily the primary language.
On va travailler pour ça en France, en tout cas. Voir si le français peut devenir la langue officielle de Kiva.
Ah oui, je crois que le français doit être la langue officielle de Kiva en Europe l'année prochaine, peut-être, si ça travaille.
Merci, Matt.
On sera.
On va voter pour sur visiblebanking.com.
Oh, oui.
Mais maybe the last question, relationship with banks, do you see that as a potential very fruitful relationship? And again, you could benefit from the scales of whatever contributing, working with the big bank, for instance. How do you see that? You've got a few relationships like with credit card issuers companies, like they provide a credit card to their clients, like Advanta in the US. How do you see that in a few words? What's your vision with banks?
Well, this isn't really a bank, but the most valuable corporate partner we have is PayPal. And what PayPal has done is waive the transaction fees for Kiva to make this model really possible. So Kiva really is built on the internet, obviously, and PayPal, because without them we'd be losing 3% on every transaction.
Yes.
So it's been an absolute godsend to work with them. And I wonder in what respect we can have other partnerships maybe with banks or other corporations like that.
So you're happy to talk to people anyway, if a bank or an institution wants to discuss potential relationship? Shall they contact you? Yeah. So that's the call to action to all the readers of visiblebanking.com. Yeah. No, I say that because if I want to not challenge you, but I think it's fun. When I saw your presentation, so yesterday, one of the most successful presentations at the Retail Banking Innovations event. Congratulations. Félicitations. You said one of the bullet points was the idea was the goal was to be or to become the biggest online bank for the poor. It's still your goal?
It's a lofty goal, and I don't know exactly what it means, but at a high level, it's maybe a 15-year goal. Would be to have this brand, this website, where poor people all over the world were using it to get financial products, but also non-financial products. And because what you have is a great synergy of lenders or first world users and third world borrowers that are able to connect in this way and disintermediate the traditional institutions, because the lenders are putting money in at lower rates than the borrowers, than traditional lenders in those countries. So what if you could really build that out and have villagers all over the world using this website to get savings, to get borrowing credit, insurance possibly, but also maybe things like educational products and health products. What if this brand was a brand that was well known in the smallest villages, in the randomest places all over the world, and it was accessed directly, people connecting to people that way. So
that's the vision.
We'll see how that happens and how that takes shape.
Making a positive contribution anyway.
Yeah.
If you help one person, if you change his life or her life, that's already a success. So,
Yeah.
so a great initiative. I'm really pleased you gave me 20 minutes of your time. Et j'espère qu'on se reverra bientôt en France, à San Francisco ou en Afrique.
À la prochaine fois à Paris en printemps.
Au printemps à Paris. Et écoute, bon séjour au Cambodge.
Merci bien.
À bientôt. Salut Matt.
À la prochaine.